Think you found all of Elden Ring's secrets? Yeah, no. The Shadow of the Erdtree DLC is like peeling back the layers of an onion, and at the middle, pure mind-blowing lore. We're talking about hidden paths to cryptic item descriptions, stuff that will make you question your entire existence in the lands between. Now, if you are one of those players who just rushes through the game, skipping dialogue and sprints on to the next boss fight without looking at the item descriptions, yeah, I see you. This one's for you. We are deep diving into the lore, secrets, and all that juicy stuff that From Software loves to hide just out of sight. Don't worry, we won't be making this boring. First of all, let's talk about one of the best concealed secrets in the DLC, the secret door in Belurat Tower. Now, if you're like me, you probably just wandered around that tower, fought a few enemies, and moved on, right? But if you look a bit closer, there's actually a hidden cross that you can jump onto, leading to a secret door that most players completely miss on their first run. That said, behind this door lies some valuable treasures. Among them is the Sinistral arm of Miquella. Far deep into the lore of Elden Ring, you'll come to appreciate that the story of Miquella is tragic and ambitious. Finding his arm hidden here may suggest that Miquella's influence upon the Scadutree is deeper than we initially thought. Now, it could be that in trying to find a cure for his sister Millennia's rot, he associated himself with dark forces related to the tree. But wait, there's still more. You'll also find Scadutree fragments that are key in understanding where Scadutree comes from. Their presence in Belurat Tower suggests that Miquella, or his followers, were working in secret to harness the power of this tree. But the real treat in the secret room is a talisman that increases your attack power upon the death of one of your summoned spirits by 20% for 30 seconds. If you're one of those Spirit Ash players, this talisman is a total game changer. Up next, we have the intriguing tale of Thiollier's Concoction and its connection with Florissax, the ancient dragon of the Scadutree. First, to get your hands on Thiollier's Concoction, a series of quests must be done regarding Thiollier and more. The connection involved here is no ordinary potion, but is intended to put even the oldest dragon to sleep. Brewing this potion opens up some interesting interactions, particularly with Florissax, who serves the Lord of Placidusax by staying awake all night. You'll be able to find her early in Jagged Peak, where she's shown as a guardian figure, lending strength to her master. But there's a catch. If you manage to slip Florissax Thiollier's Concoction, she falls asleep for about 24 in-game hours. This crucial moment leads to a significant shift in your relationship with her. While she's asleep, Placidusax leaves her, and she's free to pledge her allegiance to you. That will make Florissax one of the most powerful NPC Spirit Ashes that you'll be able to get your hands on in the game. Of course, one thing to bring up is going this way will have you miss some normal rewards for her weapon and dragon form that are simply received by defeating her. Moving on, one of the most convenient features introduced in Shadow of the Erdtree DLC is new ball bearings that unlock unlimited crafting materials. A godsend for players who love upgrading gear and making consumables. 5 new ball bearings are hidden throughout the DLC in pots scattered all over the world that you can use to purchase essential crafting materials infinitely, making resource management during long boss fights that much easier. One of them is Cellar's bell bearing, found in a pot west of Prospect Town. It unlocks unlimited string, a major crafting component for making drawstring weapon buffs. String used to be such a pain to farm, but now you can stock up as much as you want. Another important bearing is the Greasemonger's bell bearing, which can be found south of the Church District High Road site of Grace. This will give you access to knot and root resin, both very important in crafting buffs during intense fights. Now, some of them are in far-flung places, hidden near waterfalls and faraway caves, but they require exploration. And let me tell you, once you unlock these materials, you'll be in good position to handle even the toughest bosses that this DLC has to offer. This simple, yet powerful addition makes the crafting process far more accessible, even enjoyable, and frees you to get on with the serious business of slaying enemies and uncovering the secrets of the Shadow of the Erdtree. Now, get ready to hear about one of the most rewarding parts of this entire DLC, Duplication of Remembrances. For those who don't remember, Remembrances are items dropped by major bosses that give you the ability to exchange these items for unique weapons or spells. Being able to duplicate treasures like these opens up a whole new world of possibilities for your builds and strategies. There are 3 secret locations in the DLC where you can duplicate Remembrances, of which the first is pretty apparent, just outside of Metyr. Accessing the site itself is rather straightforward and allows you to easily grab a second copy of your favorite Remembrance. The other 2, however, aren't as simple to find. To locate the first hidden duplication spot, you'll want to ride through the Finger Ruins near the Cerulean coast in search of a coffin that's hidden to the right of the path. The second hidden location is found on the northern edge of another Finger Ruin. This is a pretty easy place to overlook, but boy is it worth it. Each of these not only rewards you with the ability to duplicate your hardened remembrances, but also add depth to your exploration of the world. The idea here is that this will unlock more powerful attacks for you, flexible playstyles, and the opportunity to change up your strategy when things get a little bit more challenging. Now, on to one of the most curious mysteries in the Shadows of the Erdtree DLC, the huge Snakeskin near Bonny Village. It's not just some piece of shed skin, but a question of where this would come from and how it connects to the greater lore of Elden Ring. The moment you find this huge snakeskin, you can't help but think, what kind of creature could have shed something this big? Some players believe that this might have something to do with the God-Devouring Serpent, or even Eiglay, characters that have their own significant roles in the Elden Ring universe. The skin design is very different from what we have seen with Messmer's Abyssal Serpent, which begs further question into its nature. This snakeskin has been the subject of many theories amongst the community, from ancient guardian of the Scadutree to a creature once charged with protecting its secrets, to perhaps even a remnant of some lost serpent god overthrown by forces of the greater will. Also, it has been theorized by players that this snakeskin may symbolize the ongoing theme of corruption lingering within the DLC. The Scadutree itself was a twisted brother of the Erdtree, and this giant snakeskin could be the residual leftover of said corruption. The snakeskin remains an ongoing enigma that players attempt to figure out. What does the snakeskin mean for the future of Elden Ring? Only time and perhaps a future DLC will tell. With Shadow of the Erdtree, the new Spirit Ashes completely change the dynamics of combat and finally make players think in a strategy way when it comes to their builds and summonings. Which brings me to another prominent feature, the Talisman of Spirit Synergy. It increases your attack power whenever a summoned spirit dies. This feature alone makes your summoned spirits part of your offensive strategy. For example, Skeletal Militiamen Spirit Ashes would be quite effective. Such ashes can resurrect themselves and keep your attack buff up because they constantly fall and rise in battle. This means you can keep your buffs active for extended periods, making fights much more manageable. Additionally, the Soul Jar Ashes, which summon multiple spirits, can create chaos out on the battlefield. Every time one of these spirits is taken down, your damage output spikes. Which is all well and good, but it's worth noting that summoning NPCs outside the boss fog gates will scale the boss's HP way up, while those summoned inside the gates keep the boss's HP lower. This strategic choice can make a world of difference, allowing you to tailor your approach to each encounter. Now, let's cover some of the most slippery and difficult to reach secret bosses of Shadow of the Erdtree: Midra, Lord of Frenzied Flame, and Metyr, Mother of the Two Fingers. Midra resides in a secret underground temple and is an intimidating adversary who possesses the power of the Frenzied Flame. He's not that simple to fight because his attacks cause madness and chaos. Defeating him rewards players with an incantation called Flame of Madness, which adds some devastating fire damage and madness effects to your arsenal. Perfect for those who enjoy a pyromancer build. Then of course we have Metyr, who resides deep within the corrupted roots of the Scadutree. As a guardian of ancient lore related to the Two Fingers, her battle offers rich lore implications. You'll get a special remembrance for defeating Metyr, which can be exchanged with a powerful weapon or strong talisman. By defeating either of these bosses, players are rewarded not only with incredible rewards, but also deepen the narrative of the Shadow of the Erdtree, tying into the overall conflict between the Greater Will and those forces which would seek to harness the tree's dark power. Everything from the dark history of Erdtree itself, the mysterious factions, twisted enemies, to the cryptic item lore keeps us all guessing. This DLC is not just an expansion, but a full-blown lore bomb just waiting to be cracked open. But what do you think? Are you ready to discover what really brought down Erdtree? Or are you still trying to decipher what one of those item descriptions really said? Either way, the story isn't over yet, and who knows what other abominations or revelations we will have found. And now, before you go off testing those weird theories in the Shadowlands, make sure you hit that like button, drop a comment with your wildest Elden Ring theories, and of course, subscribe for more deep dives into the wild, wonderful, and very confusing world of Elden Ring. Thank you for watching, and remember, always read the item descriptions.